What's up, everybody? It's your favorite contractor's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the New Age Bonecrusher and Scavenger. This is on loan to me, of course, from the one and only Robert D. There's a lot of kind of hubbub surrounding these two Devastators that are coming out. I think I'm going to have the opportunity to look at both and then compare both and do a versus and all that kind of stuff. But this is the first release, as far as I know, of either of their offerings, and it's from New Age. So I'm anxious to take a look at them, but in order to do so, we got to start with accessories. So Bonecrusher comes with one pistol. Forgive me if this isn't the right one. They both come with a pistol. This is the one I think is his, but I get confused. No paint, just straight gray plastic and some sculpt work. And he will hold it relatively fine. Maybe not the best in terms of how it sits in the hand, if this is even his, but relatively fine. The gun does stow here in alt mode. If you really need it to, it will go. So will the other gun that we're going to look at here in a second. Scavenger also comes with a gun. Once again, I'm not sure if this is his or vice versa. I get them confused, but they both come with a gun. And this is it. Once again, no paint, all sculpt work. He will hold it, but it is a super tight fit. So I'm going to switch these guns here in a second and see if it's any better on either one. Because like I said, there's not a picture of them holding their proper weapons on the box or in the instructions or anything, and I can't recall. So I will show you that and see if there's any difference. But you can get him to hold it. It's just a very, very tight fit. So yeah, the guns definitely work better when you swap them, and he holds this one and he holds that one. So it was a 50-50. I've never won a 50-50 in my life, and this just continues the trend. But this will work much better. You can fit this gun in the back of Scavenger's head if you need somewhere for the weapon to stow as well. And there might be another place, but that's all I got. And we'll check the other one as well. That one you can, but it's not as good of a fit. And then they each come with a horn. These are painted with this like copper finish, which probably is the wrong choice. Probably should have been more of a gold, but at least they are painted for the that bit, so you can do that, and they'll hold those just fine. You also get a bag of 6 Energon cubes. They seem to capture light pretty nicely. They're always nice to have. It never really hurts to have them, but nothing really, to write home about. So let's look at Bonecrusher first, and we have to look at both of them because they do some things differently. Some stuff is the same, and we'll kind of breeze past that. For one, this is a lot of green plastic. Not necessarily what I think of when I think of New Age. It's a little surprising, and with the kind of increase in quality of Magic Square recently, when I got these out of the box, I had to go double check that they weren't Magic Square. After messing with them and seeing the nuance and stuff, the New Age elements definitely do come out. But let's talk about it. For one, that head sculpt is money. New Age nails their head sculpts. Money, 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 money. The gray is painted, the red is painted, and then the dark gray is flat plastic, I believe. For articulation, it's a hinge rather, that gets you nothing really up. It does get you a good bit down, and it's a peg, so it swivels at the peg, which is fine. For the shoulders, we have ball pegs that are hinged at the inside of the chest, so you can get them up, you can drop them down for poses and such. You can get them all the way up, out to 90 degrees, rotate them outward, etc., etc., plus the 360 around. You get a bicep swivel at a cut joint. You get a hinge for an elbow that gets you a little bit past 90 degrees. And then you get a wrist swivel and an unsightly gap. Same for the other side. No paint. Not what I expect with New Age. We do get some paint accents on the chest, which does look good. The reds and purples. You get a waist swivel. You get an ab crunch that gets you 90 degrees over. And this is interesting stuff for the legs. So once again, not a lot of paint. You do get this purple paint on the side, and that does look good. Now, you have a hinge inside of the pelvis. That will get you out for the full Van Damme. You also get a separate hinge down here, so it acts like a dual universal kind of. That will get you forward and back for the full Monty. You get a thigh swivel at a mushroom cut. You get a double jointed elbow, if it was on his arm. But you get a double jointed knee. And then for the ankles, you get an ankle rocker. You also get an ankle tilt up and an ankle tilt down. And I'll tell you, these little nuances in articulation, just the way that the options in the legs, like just moving this joint out to the side a little bit, and you can kind of manipulate that around, and the double jointed knees and how kind of smooth that is, along with the shoulder being able to drop down and pull up. There's so much character that you can get to kind of come through in the poses where like it's almost hard for them to look bad. Like, you know, usually like when I'm doing these reviews and such, like I have kind of a checklist of things that I need to do in order to make the review kind of palatable in some regard to some. And this is a set where like I kept taking more pictures and more pictures because I kept having more fun posing it, and something needs to be said for that. Like a lot of character comes through in these guys, and there he is from the back. Now for Scavenger, we got light gray on the face along with the red on the eyes again. Once again, we have the hinge for the neck that gets you a little bit down and a little bit up. You also get a swivel because it pegs in. And I think that's a peg. Oh, maybe that's a ball peg. It might be a ball peg because it does look like you get a little bit of attitude out of him. Let's see what else. Head sculpt, once again, is right on the money. The shoulders are done the same way, but you get even more range. You get it all the way up. Out to the side, 360 around, cut joint for a bicep swivel. This one you get a double jointed elbow, so that's nice. This one you get a wrist hinge and swivel, so that's nice. Same for the other side. You also get this swivel joint like across the chest here, so you can do like a teapot, and you get the ab crunch that gets you 90 degrees over. And just those little things, man, like as I've been posing them and such, like they just help you get so much sort of like dynamic poses out of them. Like it's just hard to make these things look bad. Really, really, really well done. The gray is painted here. The green is not. You get some purple accents, which we'll look more at in alt mode. Nothing painted on the legs. The legs are the same pretty much as Bonecrushers, except you do get an ankle swivel along with your ankle rocker, but no real ankle tilt up or down. So that's the only difference. These pieces here are pretty much the same. But yeah, I mean, just I can't stress it enough, and you won't know unless you mess with them, but like just a ton of character comes through, and hopefully in the final thoughts I can come up with some poses to help you see that. Size comparison wise, there they are with our usual suspects of a Hasbro Stunticon Legend and the old Iron Factory scale Legends. You know, we always do this. Hopefully this gives you some sort of idea. And of course with our current scale Iron Factory Tarn. So hopefully that gives you some sort of idea. So let's get him transformed, and we'll start with Bonecrusher. Flip his hands, you're not going to believe this, to the inside of those gaps. And rotate the hinge inside of the chest down as far as it will go, and look so that you're looking at the ball pegs, and then collapse the forearms into the shoulders. Then you want to open the chest up and lift this little flap down, pull the head forward, bring the arms up, tab them in together, bring this whole piece out. As you do, tuck the head underneath. There's a number of male pegs here that will line up with corresponding female pegs, or holes rather, so to speak. Line those up, get those out, and I think you can even open this up now to kind of start forming that. And then for the legs, you kind of want to do them sort of old school combiner style and sort of bring like G1 and bring them out to the side here. And then the only kind of like involved engineering of this at all is you want to spin this foot around, and then once you've got it to the inside of the leg, spin it 180, lift up this flap, you know, and then rotate the foot around, line up the purple bits, tuck that part in, this part will come forward and bring this piece down. So same on the other side, spin this to the inside, lift up your little flap, you know, then bring this back around. Oh yeah, I didn't rotate it 180, so rotate it 180. Then bring this back around, line up the purple bits. That will tuck in, this will come out, this will come down, and then you kind of start lining all of this up. There's a tab here, male, female, male, male, female, female. and you're gonna do that on both sides, and I will try to make this as painless as possible, but at least enough for you to get the idea. And there. And then you just have this last little bit that you kind of sort out. So I'll get this cleaned up and I'll move on to the next one, then we'll look at both vehicles together. So we'll move on to this guy. Once again, we'll start with the hands. Tuck those bad boys into the back of his arms. I know that's kind of comes as a surprise. I get it. I understand. Bring out the shovel bit. Bring down, they're on double hinges, his chest here. This will free up the back so that you can tuck his head in, so to speak. Bring the arms up. They need to kind of fold around and plug back in, so just orient them until they make sense. Or maybe they need to go this way, yeah, and then spin the whole bit around. So my bad. Plug them into like the ball peg side and then spin them around and they should connect. And then you just have the legs, which aren't quite as involved as the other, but once again, you want to do it G1 combiner style. Spin the treads around so that they match, and I think you want this bit towards the inside. Spin the foot around so that the peg on the heel matches up to the knee. Do that on both sides. And I just did it again. And then spin around until it matches up with the knee. And then spin these around. Male, female, male, female. So we're plugging the purple into the gray chest, which brings you to this. You can spin that around 180 so that it sits properly, and then flip up the cab, and you're done. I'll clean them up. We'll take a look at them. And here they are in alt mode. We'll look at him first. The purple windows look good. You do get this to swivel. You have a hinge at the kind of scoop that gets you there, there, and there. So pretty well articulated. No wheels, of course. You get the little gray accents there. I think it does a pretty good job. And then as far as this guy, you can articulate this a bit, not that you would want to, and you can kind of move your front end, bulldozer part of it as well. So yeah, I mean, I think that they're pretty successful. Maybe perhaps a little on the plain side in terms of deco, because I'm just not used to them not looking painted from New Age, but you know, not hateful at all. Neither is Tiger Tracks. Final thoughts wise, we'll start with the negatives. The most glaring negative to me is that, like, just not fit, but finish wise in terms of deco aesthetics, I'm just not used to New Age figures looking this plain. I really did think this was a Magic Square product at first, or at least considered that as an option, which I wouldn't have previously. That speaks both to the strength of Magic Square as much as it does to the kind of weakness deco wise of this New Age. And that's really my biggest complaint here. If I had to choose something else, it would be the unsightly gaps in both of their forearms. Not the biggest deal in the world, certainly, but I just expect a little bit more from New Age in that regard. Once again, not an issue, but if I was being critical, that's what I would have. And lastly, I'm going to cut to this. I have noticed some stress marks in some points on the ankles as I've been moving through it. So once again, something to be a little cognizant of. Positives wise, the articulation is right on the money. In fact, those little nuances that I talked about really do bring so much character and life out of these figures than you would ever really expect. Every little bit of extra articulation just lends itself to so much life, and it's really refreshing to see. The paint accents are great. I just wish there was more of a finish. The sculpts are absolutely phenomenal, specifically with the head sculpts. And the engineering is fun, intuitive, easy, enjoyable, rewarding, and interesting. The materials feel good. The build is strong. What more could you really want at the end of the day other than some nice paint on that green? But even that isn't enough for me to not recommend them. So it's a strong recommend from me. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.